Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Giga Gamer Dad channel. I am the Giga Gamer Dad, and with me today I have Andy Pants from AndyPants Gaming. How are you doing, Andy?
Good, dude. Doing real good.
Well, let's start off with the big question. I saw on your channel that you finally broke 137,000 subscribers. How does that feel for you?
Dude, it was like it was truly surreal. And I know you understand this as a fellow content creator. It's surreal to go from like nobody is paying attention to you, like nobody cares, which is kind of nice actually, because you're just kind of like over here doing your thing, to like all of a sudden you're getting emails and you're pissing people off, and like As Mongold is like making a video responding to your video. Like I can't believe the morning that I woke up and I was like, I can't believe the morning I woke up and I was like, holy crap, like one of my favorite YouTubers, As Mongold, was like making a video responding to my video. And and for a second I was panicking. I was like, oh man, I hope he likes it. Like if he doesn't like this video, like I might kill myself.
Oh yeah, I watched it. Like as soon as you like put that out, I saw your video. Then I saw all these other people responding to it. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, I was nervous. I was like, oh man, if he doesn't like, thankfully he like pretty much agreed with me and chuckled like at the video. But yeah, dude, it's just surreal. And like, to anybody else who's a content creator out there, just keep making stuff, and eventually some random thing you make will go viral. And that's how it is, you know?
I literally like, after we've done a few of ours, I've had like maybe 1 or 2 subscribers. I'm like, yes, I'm at 6 now. So I'm just doing this for the hell of it.
Dude, you got to start somewhere. And like,
exactly.
Yeah, dude. And like that is, at the end of the day, that is the only reason to do anything, is because you like doing it. That was why I started doing what I did, was because I was like, I like doing this. And it's like, dude, if you like doing it, that is the reward. You know, who like really followers and subscribers don't matter, because it really doesn't matter that much.
Well, that's kind of why I started getting into it, because listening to all these other guys talk about video games, I was like, I want to do that. I can do that. Yeah, like it's one of my favorite things to talk about, and my wife doesn't want to hear any of it. I can't say I blame her.
Dude, hey guys, nobody's wife wants to hear about you talk about video games. Like, come on.
Oh yeah. Unless they're also gamers, but that's like finding a unicorn nowadays.
Yeah. Dude, do you know Nakey Jakey, the guy who's on the yoga ball talking?
Yeah.
This is so I'm 41. It's a shame to say he's probably like 10 years younger than me. When I saw his YouTube videos, he was one of the first YouTubers to inspire me and say like, oh, you can just like have an opinion and put it on YouTube and maybe it'll become popular. Mm-hmm. And he was one of the first, probably back in like 2018 or 2019. He was one of the first YouTubers to inspire me to say, oh, you can just like kind of have an opinion on games and talk about it and people will like it. You don't have to be funny or whatever, you know?
I do have 2 that I really like to listen to, and it's Fratanga Plays and Oh No, It's Alex. And
oh, well, dude, you're picking like my 2, like they're like both Xbox bromance guys.
I just think it's like funny. Like I just like watching them when they commentate on some of the news. Like the news about Concord is, as much as it is sad that we have a game coming out of the game space, it just proves to show that not everything's going to work. Yeah. So let's go on with the actual topic of this show. This is my Gamerview episodes, episode number 2. I had Liam on the first one. Great guy.
Love Liam. Great guy.
Love talking to him. I hope to do some more stuff with him in the future.
Yeah.
We'll start off with our first question. Boom. What is your earliest gaming memory? And this could be anything. Like for me, one of my first gaming memories is playing Mortal Kombat with my dad on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, nice.
Like I'm not that old. I'm only 33.
Yeah.
But I still remember some of those consoles. They're like playing Sonic on the Sega, and it was just fantastic.
Oh yeah, dude. It's funny. I swear there's a line And by the way, is your dad still alive?
Oh, my dad was 18 when I was born. Yeah, he's still alive. I think he just
That's
turned
awesome.
50.
Okay, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, dude, I feel like why do I feel like there's a line connecting Genesis fans to like Xbox fans? I feel like when you grow up, because I loved Sega too, because it was like the edgy, like less popular console. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like like there's something about Sega Genesis fans. We grow up to be like Xbox fans or something.
I think what happened was a lot of like Sega games started coming out from Microsoft, like
Yeah,
on their platforms. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
might
Streets of
be it.
Rage.
That would be an interesting deep dive, is to do a little research
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. No, but yeah, but my earliest gaming memory was my brother. So I'm from a family of five. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm like the middle of five kids. And I remember my older brother, who like my older brother like hasn't cared about video games since like 1987. Like he played one video game
Jeez.
when we were he played one video game when we were growing up, and now he hasn't cared about video games in like 30 years. But when we were kids together, he was really into the original Nintendo, and I remember him playing a couple games on the original Nintendo, and he played a game called Castlevania 2. I think it was like Belmont's Revenge or something.
Mhm.
And to this day, the so like Castlevania 2 has this very like it's like old Nintendo graphics, and the back of the screen is always black, but like the music from that game like chills me to the spine to this day. And the graphics in that game, and like how creepy it was and how scary it was, and how you could like it was the first game I ever saw where it was like, oh, this isn't like Mario where you just go to the right and complete the level. You could go back to the left and there was like a secret, or you could go down and there was a secret, and you could like, and it was so hard and like nobody could figure it out. And you had to call Nintendo Power, or you had to look in Nintendo Power magazine back in the day when they used to like print
Mhm.
every screen of the level in an entire magazine. It was so awesome. But yeah, I would say Castlevania 2 was my earliest gaming memory. And then also going when I was growing up in the late, more like the early 90s was when I was growing up. The arcades were still a big deal, and I will
Mhm.
never forget playing Street Fighter 2 in our local arcade. And then when they got Mortal Kombat in the arcade, like just the excitement of like, oh my gosh, these aren't like kind of anime looking characters like Street Fighter, but these are like pictures of real people, and
Yeah,
now
they were
you're
like
fighting with them.
rotoscoped, right?
Yeah, rotoscoped or whatever they were
Rotoscope,
called.
that's
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is. I remember that as well, because
yeah.
I was not old enough to like really play, but at the arcade my dad would take me to with his buddies, Mortal Kombat was the one game that was locked in a different room,
Oh,
because at the time they were trying. That's when the ESRB started becoming a thing.
yeah,
Like Congress was getting involved in the rating system, so
yeah.
to keep the game in the store, they put it in in like a closet in the back with the M-rated
Ah.
games. And I remember like sitting on the floor playing with like a toy car. My dad would stand at the arcade with his buddy and just go to town.
Dude, so your dad was a gamer.
Yes and no.
Okay.
When I was growing up, he owned the consoles. He had the PlayStation. He had the Xbox. We had to ask to play them. And he kept them
Right.
locked in the cabinet. And that's when I learned how to actually lockpick. so I could play it before they came home from work.
Yeah.
But he is also a workhorse. So he has these consoles, but he's always working. Like growing up, the only like major memory I have of him gaming is when we would sit down and God of War came out, and we had the guidebook, and he wanted to play it so bad, and he couldn't get past a level, and I had to go through the guidebook and be like, "This is what you got to do."
Wait, what game?
God of War, the
Oh,
first
God
one
of
on
War.
like
Yeah, the
the
original.
PS2. Yeah, he was a
Wow.
big fan of those.
Wow.
And then Rock Band was the other, like Rock Band, the Guitar Hero was the other set of games that we used to have parties over at the house, and everybody get drunk and play Rock Band.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. dude. So your dad wasn't like, or I guess he wasn't like a old school like Atari guy, like.
Yes and no. He had him. I remember him having like an NES. I remember him having a Sega Genesis. He had all of these, but he also had a kid at 18.
Yeah,
So
busy man
he had
working.
to
Yeah,
start early. And
yeah.
he still has like an Xbox. I may see him on once in a blue moon. I'm like, what is he playing? Railway Empire? Like
Railway Empire.
I know I have both of them for my Xbox. I'm like, he is not going to be able to play this like he thinks he is. So it's just, I don't envy the guy. He's
Yeah,
an elevator mechanic and he works a ton of money, making money. He just doesn't know how to relax.
yeah. Dude, I would have given anything for my dad to like care a tiny bit about video games growing up, because my parents were very anti video game growing up, and it's funny that they thought that would discourage me from being into video games, but as I grew older, it just made me more into
Quite the
video games.
opposite, right?
Yeah, because my parents they were always trying to stop the video games, and it was like this is the only thing I care about. And no, but I remember sometimes my dad would walk by and he would see like the Mario Brothers like platformer games, and my dad would always be like, "Oh, they all look the same. They all look like that." And then I remember when GoldenEye came out on N64, I was like, "Dad, look, like games don't all look the same." And he was like, "No, they all look the same." You know, like my dad, my parents hate they hate video games, but like I don't care what my parents think. Like I like them. So
I was lucky in the sense that both my parents were young enough to be able to impart their like interests. Like my mom's a huge cinephile, so watching movies was something that we do all the time. We'd stay up late and watch whatever.
Yeah.
And my dad was a huge Star Wars fan. He actually had a ton of action figures growing up, and he had to sell them because my mom was like, "You have to pick one hobby because they're both expensive," and it was collecting Star Wars action figures or model railways. And so we had to choose. Well,
wait. Star Wars or what?
Model railroading.
Oh, okay.
So he had to choose, and he got rid of all the Star Wars stuff, and it was a huge gut punch to me because I admired his collection, which is why I've had my own.
You got your own. Yeah. Dude, that's funny you mentioned railroads. My dad tried to get us into model my dad was really into model trains when he was a kid, and he tried to get us into those in the 80s and 90s, but it's like I don't think it's definitely popular in some crowds, but it's definitely not as popular as it was like 60 years ago, you know.
I thought about getting into it when I started working at the railroad I'm at. I'm not going to say the name.
Yeah, you freaking work on a railroad. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, being a train conductor is like a child's dream. Like when I tell my daughter I work on trains, she gets so excited.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I don't have any space for it. Like I had to decide Legos or model railroading, and then the way my basement's laid out, I wouldn't have been able to do nothing with it anyways.
It's so much space. It's so vertical. It's like to make anything that looks cool at all, like you need space. Yeah.
So let's go into the second one. What is gaming to you as a player? Because it means something for everybody. It's something a little different. Like for me, it's a way of escape, a way of for not really. I wouldn't say not ignoring my issues, but a way to disassociate from them for a time.
Yeah, dude. It's like I think we've probably all tried to like get away from games at some point, and like it's way more socially acceptable for me to be into like football or golf or fantasy football. Like there's these other like quote unquote normal things that bring you together, like being into sports teams or going to like sports games, you know, like there's other like quote unquote normal things that you could be into that kind of bring you together with people in like a real life context. And a couple years ago, I was just like, this is what I like doing. And this is what I like doing with my friends. And like, this is just who I am. It's interesting, like, because I'm 41 now. You get to a certain age where it's just like, this is who I am. Like, I can't like you kind of feel, whether it's and when by the time I met Katya, I was like very set in that. But I think there was a point where I was dating different girls and I was like, well, maybe I'll pretend to be a sports guy, or maybe all this. And it's like, you hit a point and it's like, I don't like going to do all these other things. I just like it. It is the thing that I care about. I care about video games. And it has also become, once I accepted that about myself, I was like, it has also just become sort of my social life too. Like,
for sure.
all of my friends, all of my good friends are people that I play video games with. And I have maybe like one or two friends in real life that aren't people that I play video games with. But it's like, just like, so to answer your question, what is gaming to you? It's like kind of the most important thing in my life, because it's like my main hobby, but it's sort of the glue in which I have fun and do everything in my life, because all of my friendships are based around gaming. All the people, pretty much everybody I know, it's based around gaming. It's my favorite hobby to do. And it's like, and like, like meeting you, Luke, like we met through YouTube, and then I was like, who's this guy with this cool logo on Xbox? And I invited you to a party one day, and I was like, oh, do you know me from YouTube? And we were, oh no, it's because I saw you were playing Skull and Bones, and like everybody hated Skull and Bones.
I still play it like every day now.
And I was like, here's the only other person who will play like Skull and Bones with me. And then we kind of struck up a friendship. But yeah, so to answer the question, what is gaming to me? It's like, yeah, I've just realized it's, as I'm getting older and like married and have a kid and stuff, you just kind of accept that, like, oh yeah, this is like where all of my friends are. This is where all of my time is spent. This is what I care about, and this is who I am,
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm in the same boat, because being a veteran, all my friends are all over the place. I have friends on the East Coast, I have friends on the West Coast, but none of them live down the street like they used to. And that's how I keep track of my friends. And then once in a blue moon, I'll meet somebody like you, or somebody that I want to give a random piece of gear to, because I'm like, hey, you look pretty weak. Here you go.
Yeah.
All right. So that leads to another one. What is your favorite game of all time? Being the social person that you are, unfortunately, if you're trapped on an island, you're not going to have that social ability. So what would that one game be?
Man, what is your favorite game? The one that you would want to have if you were trapped on an island. So, okay, does this? I assume this includes like always online games that would require internet.
I guess we can add that.
Okay.
The game in general, like if you're stuck, one game
in
to play.
So in this island, we still have like Wi-Fi. We still have like some kind of connection to the outside world. Oh, dude, I'm gonna say, because you start to think about like hours. Like, what is a game that I could play? Kind of like I got I put like 1,500 hours in the Division, Tom Clancy's The Division. But I wouldn't want to do that again in that game. And like, I've kind of like tapped all the content that I could play in that game. I want to say like an old classic I love. Like, I think you can see on the wall behind me, I have a Super Metroid poster.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say like a classic, like Super Metroid. But the reality is, you put 40 or 50 or even 100 hours into Super Metroid, and you've kind of seen everything. So I can't pick a game like that. I'm going to say, honestly, something like Fallout 4, probably, because I mean, dude, I'm having so much fun with Cyberpunk right now. I might say Cyberpunk or Fallout 4 or Starfield, maybe, because like these newer games that aren't, not classic games like Super Metroid, but newer games. Dude, these newer games like Skyrim, Fallout 4, Cyberpunk, Starfield, like there's just so much, like, because dude, I didn't even mess with like the shipbuilding system or like the weapon mod system in Starfield.
Oh, that's
It's
my
like,
favorite part.
dude, like there is tens of thousands of hours of content in Starfield and in Fallout 4 and in some of these Bethesda games. And like, dude, I feel like, and even as I'm playing Cyberpunk right now, I'm tinkering with my builds, and I'm like combining different parts from different builds, like pulling the knife attack mechanic and pulling that into like an AR build. And dude, it's got to be one of these big RPGs. I'm gonna say Fallout 4, but it could be like Fallout 4, Cyberpunk, or Starfield would be my game to take on a desert island, because even if you're disconnected from the internet, you've got tens of thousands of hours of content of like that game still staying interesting.
I'm completely with you. I've thought about this a lot myself, and the replayability is key, because if you're stuck there, then at least with like Starfield or Fallout, you could choose to be a dick this playthrough, or you can you could be the nice guy, or you could just build and just ignore everybody, like be a hermit. Like there's so many different options to that. But for me, my favorite game, and I play the entire franchise every year. At least I pick a month, I just run through them all. Fable.
Interesting.
I'm a big Fable fan. It's formulative because it was one of the first games I played, other than like Knights of the Old Republic, where your morality has an effect on the world around you. So if you were evil, you would have the villagers like taunt you or cuss you out. Or if you were a very nice guy, they'd be like, "Oh, we love you. Let's give you random money." Like it's just iconic in the way that most modern games tried to emulate that feeling with like giving you choices and a hidden morality system. Like New Vegas had the same thing. You had all these, I can't remember what they called it, but you had all these morality choices, and it affected how people responded to you. Like I understand, like I like Starfield and stuff for its replayability, but the actions in Starfield don't really seem permanent. Like,
dude, Luke, you're telling me you're gonna pick Fable over a Bethesda game?
Yes, and it's more a nostalgia thing.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
And I absolutely love Bethesda games.
I
was listening to the Skyrim soundtrack on the way home today. I'm like, I should probably play that again. I'd love to play that. But as far as like games that have impacted who I am as a gamer, Fable is it. Fable made me love being able to play an RPG and think, how do I want to play this round? Or how do I want to play this playthrough?
Dude, and I have never played any of the Fable games.
Listen, it's a very niche thing. Like, I'm not gonna blame you at all. But if you're looking for something like to go back and play, I know you're on like a retro kick right now. Right?
Yeah.
They're on Game Pass.
Okay, can you start with? I know Fable 2 was very highly regarded. Can you start with Fable 2, or do you really have to start with 1?
They're all in the same universe, and they all take place like maybe 100, 200 years after one another. Like 3 takes place in the Industrial Revolution. 2's more of like the Renaissance. And then 1 is like the Dark Ages.
Okay.
But as far as like where you play, they don't necessarily tie to each other. The only thing to know is that each character is in the same bloodline. So you're related to, if you play 3, you're related to the guy in 1.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool.
But you're like so far apart that it really doesn't matter which one you play first. 2 is by far the best one because it added mechanics that weren't in the first one. They changed the way it worked. Like I just watched a whole documentary on the making of it, and it was just so troubled. And Peter Molyneux had no idea what he wanted half the time, and he overpromised and underdelivered, but it still came out to be a great game.
Yeah. Did you watch the video of his VR companion game that he was trying to come out with, and then it was all like a hoax and like
Oh God, no! I think it did come out. It was just because
it was terrible.
supposed to come out for the Kinect.
It came out. It was just like real bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really terrible. And then they had Fable Legends, which was supposed to come out for last gen, and then they got tanked.
And it was bad. Yeah.
And that's why I'm really worried about the new one coming out.
Yeah. Dude, you are truly an Xbox. You're more of a hardcore of an Xbox guy than I am. Like devoted to the Fable games, because I haven't even played them. You know.
Well, you think that, but I've only like touched Gears of War. Like,
oh yeah.
It's one of those games where it came out at a time where I wasn't really into it. I was like into Halo multiplayer. Like that's what me and my buddies played.
Dude, same. I love Halo multiplayer so much.
Oh, I want to go back and play Halo Wars.
Well, the thing that sucked about the Halo Master Chief Collection, I don't know if you experienced this, was like because there was like, I swear there was like 8 maps when we used to do Halo 3 multiplayer back in like 2008, and I know those maps like the back of my hand. And when Halo Master Chief Collection came out, they added in all these junk maps to the roster and to the queue. And it's like, this is not like, I just want the authentic like Halo 3 matchmaking experience. I want the same like 8 maps that we had on Team Slayer, and they threw in all these crap maps, and it's like, just like ruined things.
What was it? Halo 3, the one that you're talking about? Because that's the one I have the most memories of.
Yeah, it was all the Halos on Master Chief Collection. They just threw in like random fan made custom maps into the queue, and it's like I just want the because you know the like there's like a handful of like 8 classic Halo 3 maps, like I'm blanking, like there's like Narrows, and there's like just
I was thinking of Lockout and Blood.
Exactly. Oh, I think Lockout is on Halo 2.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, there's like 8 or so classic maps that were always on Team Slayer, and it's like you're not Halo Master Chief Collection just isn't recreating the same experience anymore, because it's like all these random maps that they've thrown in.
I think it was more of a way of remastering it to get newer players to get into it, because it came out around the same time as Halo 4.
I think 2014 was when Master Chief Collection came out, so it was like right before Halo 5.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was right before Halo 5. I always forget Halo 5 existed because it was just terrible.
Yeah.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, it was 2014. It was.
Okay. I knew it was around that time because I was still in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, it was with the failed launch of the Xbox One. They were like, let's just throw the Master Chief Collection in there.
I mean, I've heard really good things about it now, and I was almost tempted to buy it for my Steam Deck so I could play it at work to dive through all the story again.
Yeah.
But I have so much I gotta play that I don't have time for anything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, dude. But talking about Fable, though, the little bit that I have played of Fable, it is such a freaking like unique ass game. Like it's not like anything. It's a very unique game that feels like nothing else. You know,
that's why I'm saying, like, if you're gonna go and play it, just pick one. Like, don't play 3 right off the bat. 3 is kind of an acquired taste. I like it because it's part of the universe, but a lot of the mechanics in it are why did they choose to do this?
Yeah.
Choose the one that updated the entirety of it.
Okay.
What were you gonna ask?
I wanted to ask you, if I am to play one, do I need to play like the true original, or is it okay to play the remaster?
Play the anniversary edition. It's the same thing. I have a buddy that was like, "Oh, I don't like that they added all this stuff." I was like, "You mean the stuff that came out in the expansion pack?"
Yeah.
For the original, called The Lost Chapters. They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's essentially part of the base game at that point. Yeah. Like it's an expansion pack. Like it's there for a reason." So anniversary is perfect. You're gonna get all the content that came out for it. One of my favorites.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we had that. And what is your go-to platform for gaming? I know you were talking about Xbox, but I'm video game agnostic. I play where the games are.
Yeah.
Do you play anywhere else?
Yeah, I do. Dude, I'm the same way. I do play wherever the games are, but I think we all have our preferred ways of play, and like in the various places in which we find ourselves, we have certain like limitations that limit our lives. And so my number one choice is always going to be just playing on the Xbox, because I love that I can install a game and I hit a button and I'm playing it, and I'm not dealing with like PC stuff. And in these past few years, the PC is has less of an issue with this stuff. But like, I feel like definitely with older games, like games from 2011, if I try to play them on my PC, they often don't have like controller support, and there's all this stuff that's always happening. And so Xbox is like my number one choice to play. And then I would say Steam Deck is probably number two. Steam Deck's probably number two, and then PC is number three. But I still game a ton on PC. Definitely like RTSs. Like,
that's the only way to play those sometimes.
Yeah, you have to have a mouse and keyboard to play RTS. But yeah, I'd say Xbox, and then Steam Deck, and then PC. But one interesting thing though about this, that because like I wasn't a Nintendo Switch guy, but I got the Steam Deck because I was like, oh, I like the idea of a handheld. And then when I found out that like your entire Steam library was on the Steam Deck, I was like, are you kidding me? This is like the dream device. Like why is everyone not buying one of these immediately? And so I got a Steam Deck, and I have loved the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck's awesome. But the thing that I've learned about myself is I really like a big screen. I really like being immersed on a big screen. And it's like, look, if you have no other choice, then the Steam Deck will do. But like, dude, it's just not the same. The Steam Deck is just not the same as being like, I think it's something about like maybe our generation. We want to be like on a big screen, kind of like immersed in the experience. And maybe the generation coming up is like okay with playing games on their phones, but like I don't want to play games on my phone. I want to be immersed in the experience.
You and I are very similar in that aspect. I play my Xbox on a 75-inch reclined in my sofa. But my Steam Deck was a use case scenario with me going to like New York or New Haven every other day and spending 3 or 4 hours on the layover.
Right.
I get bored.
Yeah.
So the Steam Deck was a way. I've always had kind of an affinity for handhelds. I think I said this in Liam's episode. My first console I ever bought was a PSP, a red God of War PSP.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've always had a handheld. I've always liked the handhelds. I like the use case for the handheld.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I'm at home, the only reason why I touch my Steam Deck is if my wife wants to watch TV upstairs and I want to play something, like I'm grinding out Diablo or I'm doing something mindless there on the sofa.
Doing something mindless. That's a good idea. You're kind of like, okay, I'm grinding. I'm like, you don't want those like those big cinematic important moments in Starfield. You're like, I'm not gonna that would be wasted on a Steam Deck.
I have Starfield installed on my Steam Deck, but I've put 99% of my hours played overall on the Xbox. I have it there just in case. Like I played Fallout again on it. Right now I have Skull and Bones installed on it because I go out, I grind out the few resources I need, hit up my manufacturers, resupply them, and do the grinding things that I don't want to have to do later.
Yeah.
And,
dude.
And
go ahead.
Season passes are the bane of my existence because all the games I want to play have them, and I'm like, well, I started this season pass, now I got to finish it, and I don't have time to do it, and I don't want to do it when I'm at home. So playing it on the Steam Deck is great. Diablo and Skull and Bones, that's what I've been doing with that.
Yeah, dude, I haven't logged into Skull and Bones in forever. Is it set up now where pretty much like all the manufacturers create pieces of 8 automatically for you, or do you still have to do stuff?
They incorporated where this is how in depth I went. I actually built. You remember the bark that came out?
The mark.
The bark.
Oh yeah, the bark. The ship.
Self-healing ship.
Yeah.
I have 19 of those.
Dude, why?
Because you can assign them to the manufacturers, and they'll bring in the pieces of 8 automatically.
Oh.
So I named them all too. I was like Smuggler 1, 2, 3, 4. And the entire Red Isle is filled with them. So all I have to do is log in, refund them, and they just keep breaking it in. So
yeah. Dude, I loved in Skull and Bones having to fight another person to get a manufactory. That was like, that was such a great. Everybody hates Skull and Bones now, but like, I'm sorry, that was such a fun mechanic. Was like, okay, here's another ship. So yeah, to those of you listening, the manufacturers create pieces of 8, which are these very valuable currency that you need. And basically, in order to win this manufactory, it was sort of like a public event that you would show up to, and you had to kill whoever else was there to be crowned the victor and win the factory so that you could make more pieces of 8 for you. And, say what you will about Skull and Bones, but that was a freaking fun ass mechanic.
Man, the whole ship mechanics from Black Flag are the reason why I play Skull and Bones. Like, that was my favorite part about Black Flag.
Yeah,
I could care less about running on the land and
Assassin's
killing people.
Creed
I wanted to be out there on the water.
Yeah.
And
no, dude, man, I wish I hope that Ubisoft in the future just takes, like, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it would be cool if they took the ship combat and just like combined it with Assassin's Creed World, where it's like, why can't we have both? Like, why can't we have Assassin's Creed World and,
I mean, the argument is it wouldn't work in a multiplayer setting. Right. I think you and I've discussed this before. Like,
that's right. We talked about this.
It doesn't. It wouldn't work. But the idea of being able to buy a ship and upgrade it and utilize what I want as an assassin, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Black Flag 2. Like, I mean, rumor is that there's a new Black Flag coming out. Like, they're remastering the old one. And I'm excited to see what modern adjustments they've made to it.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to dive back into that. It was such a good game.
Yeah. No, dude, I was the same way though. I'm not like a huge Assassin's Creed guy, and so the ship battles were really fun, and I was like, oh, okay. And there's Assassin's Creed stuff too. So,
I mean, I think the newer games, Valhalla and Odyssey, really they stepped it up a notch in a bad way, because I feel like they're too big. Like, the ship combats, going around on a ship is great, but I don't have time to spend 900 hours to do everything in this game.
But look, but you're just sitting here talking about how you're grinding out Diablo. You do have time. You do have time.
I lose a lot of sleep to make time.
What you mean is I don't care. Which I totally understand.
Okay, that makes way better sense. Like, I like the games. I just don't care to go out of my way to hunt for all the collectibles. I'm not doing that.
Oh my gosh, collectibles. Collectibles are the least satisfying like video game mechanic ever. Yeah.
Unless they're like very minor and they're not like a big thing. Like, the issue is there's like 900 collectibles in like Odyssey and Valhalla.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, I'm here to kill people. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Well, see, and the thing I liked about Skull and Bones was like pieces of 8 are helping me get the best gear in the game. So like it's worth it to grind for pieces of 8 because it's giving me better and better gear. And I just want to maintain like the best possible gear so that when I get in a PvP battle, I'm like, I have very strong gear. And that was the motivation for me. But you're right. Like, just collectibles for collectibles' sake is not motivating to me at all. But then you have people like my brother who like plays every Assassin's Creed game, gets every single collectible, and he loves my little brother freaking loves collectibles so much. And that is gameplay to him, is collectibles, and it's so stupid.
That's fine. I collect Legos. Like I don't need to go
Right.
collect something in a game.
Right.
I game because I like the progression. I
Yeah.
like having something to show at the end. Like
Starfield. Power.
I have 100 hours in this save. Look, I have collected all these weapons. I have built all these ships. I have an Aurora manufactory.
Wait, a what?
Aurora. Like
I didn't know you could do that.
I buy the chumbass oil and I sneak it off planet and I stockpile it.
Is there a quest to do that?
No, you learn how to make it.
Yeah, because I kept going. Well, dude, I kept going to the stupid machine and like being like, oh, you pick it up from here and put it over here. Pick it up from here, put it over here. How do you get to the next part of it?
Now that you know the chemical makeup of it, you can make it anywhere.
Oh. Okay.
So I found like the ingredients that I need, and I mine them off planet, and I just stockpile chumbass oil, and I sneak it off planet and make it off planet.
Okay, so you're making it off planet. Who are you selling it to?
Whoever takes it.
Okay.
Crimson Fleet, baby. I'm a pirate. I'm smuggling that shit.
Okay. Okay. So you do. I see. So doing that quest on Neon. You're learning the recipe and you're making it on a planet and then you're selling it, and it is illegal, but it sells for a lot of money.
Yeah,
dude. So you have a ton of money in Starfield.
I have more money than I know what to do.
How much money do you have in Starfield?
I think at last glance I have like 1.5 million credits, and nice. Like I can go in and I can build whatever ship I want. And that's what I need to start doing because I want to do like shipbuilding videos. But at a certain point, you're like, now I'm waiting for the DLC to come out.
Right. Yeah. See that like my usual way of making money in Fallout and all this Bethesda games is like, oh, I kill a bunch of enemies and then I take their armor and guns and go sell them. But like, I could just do the chasm bass oil thing and never pick up armor again.
Oh, I mean, I still do that. Like bounty hunting was my favorite thing to do in the game. Pick up a bounty, go to a planet, kill them all, take their shit, go back and sell it.
It's fun. It's
rinse
fun.
and repeat.
It's fun, dude. And it's even better when you get to that planet and there's like low gravity. So you're doing that thing. So you're doing that thing where you run in and then you like jump and you like land on top of a tower and then you're just like shooting down on everybody. Like so much fun.
When I have to worry about floating off into space on your buggy.
Yeah. Oh,
you hit a bump just right and you just fly.
Dude, the buggy, I am excited about the buggy. That's going to be a huge answer to prayer for everybody.
It makes me wonder how this new DLC is going to be because rumor is that it's going to be like Far Harbor from Fallout 4.
Okay,
I loved Far Harbor.
So it's going to take you somewhere, and it's going to be sort of a self-contained story.
Yeah, it's self-contained planet. Like it's where House Varun resides. And the rumor is that there's like 50 locations within this planet to look for, and there's like an achievement tied to it. So I'm hoping it is Far Harbor like in that aspect because Far Harbor was one of my favorite DLCs of Fallout 4.
Yeah.
It was just a good story. It was its own thing. It was contained. It could have been like a standalone DLC.
Yeah.
But it was just, that's what I'm hoping. So we'll see.
Yeah.
That's a good segue into our next question. Oh, let's see. What are you currently playing right now and has your attention? What are your opinions on it so far? I know you're playing Cyberpunk, but are you playing anything else like I do?
Dude, my brother-in-law is staying with us for a couple weeks, and he was kind of complaining to me about Starfield, and he feels like and I can kind of agree with him. He feels like the characters in Starfield just don't have the edge that past Bethesda games did of being like they're not, there's no assholes, right? There's no assholes in Starfield. And like, you just want kind of some edgier characters sometimes. But then as I thought about it, because when we were doing research for our Starfield episode, I bounced, like I was right in the middle of a playthrough, and even after talking shit about Starfield for an hour with him, I was still like, I kind of want to go back and finish this playthrough because I was having fun.
Mm-hmm. And
So
there are very like few characters that the gray area exists, like Matthias, or however you say his name, in the Crimson Fleet.
Yeah.
If you don't like rat him out to Delgado, you can take him on as a companion later on. So he is he's on my ship as one of those like asshole characters. They do exist. But it's not the main character.
Right. It's not one of the main 4 characters. Yeah.
Whereas like in Fallout 4, you had Kate, who felt like a main character. She had her own story. You had Curie, you had Strong. Strong was great. I loved Strong.
Yeah.
But they don't feel,
or
Starfield
Boone.
Doesn't feel as fleshed out. Or Boone from New Vegas. Yeah.
Or Cyberpunk. I mean, Cyberpunk has tons of asshole characters.
Mm-hmm. Cyberpunk is just an asshole game.
Dude, it's such an asshole. Everybody
is so good.
Like, everybody is pissed at you all the time. Like, it's such. I love it. I love the game.
That's why I always like run strapped, baby. Like, what'd you say? All right, that you're dead.
Yeah.
Keep going.
No. But to answer your question, I keep being tempted to jump back into Starfield. I made a video about this game. Kind of interesting. I took a detour recently into like squad based shooters like Brothers in Arms, Rainbow Six, Vegas 2, and it was, I had kind of become just sort of tired of every game being a first person game, and like I don't get much joy out of going back and playing like Call of Duty type games. And so the thing that I liked about the Brothers in Arms games and the Rainbow Six Vegas 2 is that it's like a mixture of like FPS gameplay with where you actually control squads, and it's an important. So I was playing that for a couple weeks, but the big thing that's taking up my time right now is Cyberpunk. I'm kind of devoting all my time to Cyberpunk, and I'm just enjoying all of the new stuff that they added. And I dropped it down to easy today, and I was like, okay, I want to go 5 stars on the police, and I want to get in just like the biggest shootout ever. And there's this sound effect you hear when Max Tack finally shows up to put you down, and it's so good. And it's like I'm one of these like Cyberpunk apologists who's like, look, I loved the game in 2020. Like I thought it was a great game in 2020, but it is an even better game now.
I know that's what we were talking about offline, because I was like, they changed the whole system.
Yeah,
you were like,
they did.
No, they did.
Yeah, no. You're right, because I hadn't looked closely at the new one. But you're right. I looked closely at the new one, and it's the skill system is completely different. The fights with the police are existent, whereas they were basically non-existent in the original Cyberpunk. So I've just been fighting with the police, and like I think a bad way to look at Cyberpunk is that you have to fit into like this is after like playing for 50 hours now of Cyberpunk. It's like you don't have to fit into like, you don't have to be like, oh, I'm an assassin or I'm a hacker or I'm a whatever. Like the fun I think to be had in Cyberpunk is mixing stuff. So like I love being able to one hit kill people with the knives. So like I want to keep that, but I also like guns. So I want to kill people with guns too. And like the amazing thing about Cyberpunk now is you can endlessly experiment and create new builds to fit whatever fun, zany, wacky playstyle you want to have. And like, and it's like I was reminded how great the story is in Cyberpunk for like 10 hours or like it was barely 5 hours. And then I'm over here spending like 50 hours just clowning around and goofing off with like the incredibly fun combat and builds and exploration. And so anyway, I guess that answers your question. Yeah, I'm playing Cyberpunk now, and that's what I'm enjoying right now. Yeah.
I think that's an example of what makes a good RPG is the ability to be able to choose the way you play. And I think Cyberpunk really did it well. And I look forward to seeing what the new one is going to be, because the CD Projekt Red has an office now up here in Boston. They have a studio.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You should apply for a job, dude.
I wouldn't
be like, hey,
do y'all need
a train conductor at
yeah, right. You need a consultant. Like, come on. Because the whole reason why they're doing it over here is because I guess a lot of the criticism from Cyberpunk was it didn't feel American. It felt kind of off. And you could see
it feels perfect though. Like
I understand.
I love it.
I agree with you. However, but if you look at the minor details, like the manhole covers, they're European manhole covers, and I guess for people that are thinking about that, takes them out of the experience.
Yeah.
So because I think CD Projekt Red is over there in Europe somewhere. I don't know exactly where.
Poland.
Okay, I knew it was. I didn't want to say it. I knew it was over there, but they want to create the next one to be more authentically American. So I'm interested to see what the new one was, and I think we've talked about this as well. Is I wonder what kind of story they're going to do this time, because you can't do the story from Cyberpunk again. It was unique, it was different, but now you're just copying your game if you do that.
And you like a lot of Cyberpunk films and media, don't you?
Dude, I'd like to do a RoboCop type of thing. Or a Blade Runner type of thing.
Dude, I have been playing as RoboCop in Cyberpunk. It is very lore. It's friendly to the lore of RoboCop.
I just bought the RoboCop game on sale.
Oh, yeah.
It was like $15 for the deluxe edition. I was like, well, that's a nostalgia hit right there. Take my money.
Hang on. Is it $15 right now?
It was like a few weeks ago. I don't know what it is now.
Oh no, it's back up to 50. Yeah, I need to get it when it's cheap. Yeah.
I'll have to let you know what it's like, because I've been waiting to play that when I don't have to worry about the kids getting up.
Yeah. Dude, do you think it would be interesting to see with Cyberpunk 2, dude, because they've like polished Cyberpunk 1 to such like a beautiful game. It's like, is it going to be multiplayer? Well, nah.
There were rumors that there were going to be multiplayer in this one, and then they scrapped it.
So far from even being ready to have multiplayer in that game.
I mean, the multiplayer concept would be cool because you get to choose what abilities you have.
Yeah.
But as far as the world, I wasn't built for that.
Yeah, dude, and I was even have you haven't heard of this game called Severed Steel, have you, by any chance?
Severed Steel, I think I own it. Let me look.
Yeah, do you?
Those are my installed games. It's 89 games installed. Let's see. Out of 578 games on Steam, Severed Steel. I own Severed Steel. Yep.
You own it. Okay. Play if you haven't played it yet, play that game. Okay, I was playing that game for a few minutes the other day, and
Steam Deck verified. Yeah, okay.
It's kind of like a John Wick. It's truly like a John Wick game where you are diving and jumping and rolling and like slow motion time bullet killing people and kicking people, and it feels so freaking good to fight people in that game. And it's like as much fun as I am having with Cyberpunk, I don't get the same feeling from Cyberpunk of being like an incredibly agile, like, oh, I'm just zipping like all around the room and doing stuff in slow motion. And it's like, but as I was playing Cyberpunk, I was like, oh man, I wish Cyberpunk felt this way, of being truly like a ninja who's jumping around the room, like headshotting people.
If we were going to talk about like video game mechanics as far as maneuverability, the two that immediately come to mind is Titanfall and Dying Light.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like those systems would have been so good in Cyberpunk, because like wall running with a katana,
oh yeah,
like that'd be fucking badass, you know? coming out with the mantis blades and just jumping onto somebody. Like,
yeah.
Because originally when they announced it, that's what the impression was going to be. I remember reading articles about that and how they were trying to get it to where you could do stuff like that, and it just didn't quite pan out.
Yeah. Well, and you can watch these reels of and like I've been trying to get good enough at Cyberpunk where I can like feel like I'm creating some of these clips that you've seen. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the clips on YouTube of like Cyber Ninja build where he's like he like it practically looks like Titanfall where he's like skipping along and like knifing people in the head and just like stopping time, and then 10 guys fall to the ground and are dead. Like,
see, I see those videos and I really wonder what difficulty they're playing on as well.
You wonder what
difficulty they're playing on?
Oh, definitely yes.
It definitely feels like the NPCs aren't reacting, and I've always felt, that'd be way more badass if they were playing it on very hard.
Oh yeah. No, dude.
And that's what I try to do with it. I'm like sneaking around, breaking people's necks instead. I'm like,
yeah.
Don't find him.
Yeah, no, dude. Those reels people are making are 100% on easy, difficulty. Yeah, 100%. But they've some of them. But I've looked at them and been like, okay, what cyberware does this guy have that he's zipping around so fast and has such a long cooldown time on the Sandevistan that he's able to do all this stuff,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But flipping the question around, what are you playing right now and what are you enjoying?
Okay, so it's been coined this term that there is a genre of games called dad games.
What are dad games?
Okay, I'm gonna explain. Okay, so you have like pressure washing simulator, you have lawn mowing simulator, you have like any game where you're actually doing a job. Is considered a dad game. And
just like for stressed out dads who are like, I don't want to think about anything. I just want to like go like this.
I want a task. I want to go do something. I want to make something.
Dad games.
I used to play Elite Dangerous, and I actually wrote a review on Elite Dangerous a long time ago, and I called it the dadliest of dad games because I played as a space trucker.
Yeah.
I'd go from station to station transporting goods, and I just watched that credit bar keep going up.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, yes, it makes me feel good about something, like I'm accomplishing something. And I stopped playing Elite Dangerous since they abandoned consoles. But the game I'm playing right now is called Star Trucker. And it's this big rig in space. So you have to like back the ship up to get your trailer.
Yeah.
And then you have to fly to space and hit these warp gates, which are essentially like highways in between systems.
Okay.
Bounce from system to transport this. And then you pick up another contract and you do the same thing over again.
Okay.
But you have to manage like your ship, your hull integrity degrades, and you have to go out with a spacesuit and like patch the holes, or else your oxygen's going to deplete. You have to put new batteries in. You have to change your air filters, and you can customize your rig. And it's just, it is a dad game through and through. And I don't care what people say. I enjoy the hell out of it. I mean, I play Cyberpunk on my Steam Deck when I'm at work. Like, I'm still playing to try and get into it, but I can't devote all my time to one game. So I've been bouncing between Star Trucker. What else? What else did I just buy? Oh, and Civilization Beyond Earth.
Huh. Is this a new game, old game?
Beyond Earth, what came out before Civilization 6 and after Civilization 5. It was like that intermediate one. And it's a sci-fi one.
Bro, how have I never heard of this?
It is one of my favorites. The tech tree in it is a web, and you get to change the way your I wouldn't call it civilization, but you get sponsored by these corporations to colonize a new planet. And depending on the route that you take, there's three different approaches. You have supremacy, which is like, I'm better than you all, I'm going to kill you all. and then your units change to look more into that faction or that alignment. and you have purity, which is like we're human, we want to stay human, we want to bring humanity here, and then your units will look like that, and then you have harmony. So we're going to be at peace with the aliens and try and live in harmony with them, and so your units will change based on that, and it's just so unique. And my wife and I are both excited for the new Civilization, but this is the one I keep going back to.
Your wife plays Civ?
Yeah, actually, we've been spending most nights sitting down here in the man cave. I'll be playing on my computer, and she'll be sitting on the sofa. We're playing the same game. We're playing multiplayer, and we're watching Modern Family.
Dude, I'm so jealous. I can't get my wife to play any video games ever. So that's a blessing.
I was lucky that I married a woman who has 4 degrees, and one of them, 2 of them are in history. So she was a history buff, and a lot of her like school colleagues or whatever, they would bring up Civilization, and she asked me if I played it. I was like, "Do I play Civ?" Yeah. She's like, "Can I try it?" And then she fell in love with it. So it's been one of those things that we've played periodically here or there since we met.
Yeah. That's awesome. All I could get my wife to play was stuff she's nostalgic about from her youth. So we beat all 3 Crash Bandicoot games, and then we beat like 1 or 2 of the Prince of Persia games. And I can't get her interested in anything else because she has to be like nostalgic about it from the 90s. Otherwise there's no hook.
I am a very appreciative that my wife isn't into it. She plays The Sims as well. Like that's the other thing she plays.
Yeah.
And she tried playing Stardew Valley.
What?
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley, yeah.
And I like the fact that she isn't quite into them because
there's some good things.
Different interests.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of nice to be like, here's video game world with the bros, and then here's like wife world, and ne'er the two shall meet can sometimes be nice. So
oh yeah, like when she wants to go out to see like a musical or a play that I don't particularly want to see, she's like, "You care if I go with my friends?" No, go. I'm gonna stay in the house and play Xbox until you come home.
I have nothing to do ever. Oh, what will I do?
Yeah, exactly. Like I bring out the Totino's pizzas, maybe grab a drink or 2, set up, baby.
Yeah, dude. What is your what do you think is the best RTS?
Oof.
Or like, okay, so Civ is not an RTS.
Civ is considered a 4X strategy game.
Okay, what is your? Let me ask you this: what is your favorite 4X game, and then what is your favorite RTS?
Oh, I've really grown fond of first just strategy in general. Total War Warhammer 3. Like I like that. I've slowly started getting into the Warhammer universe, and I like the grim darkness of it. And all the factions that are in it just make me like, okay, they all play differently. I like this universe. But if we're going to go classic, Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds is one of my favorites. And it was when Age of Empires 2 was popular. They created a Star Wars version of Age of Empires 2 called Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, and then they have an expansion with the Clone Wars.
Okay, and this is your favorite RTS?
Yeah. It's definitely dated. But
no, dude, it looks like OG StarCraft.
Yeah. I mean, StarCraft is good too. I just never really got into it. I always got my ass kicked by the Koreans.
Yeah. So. Yeah, dude, I wish freaking Halo Wars 2. I love Halo Wars 2 because I feel like it's like StarCraft, but the stuff looks cooler. Like there's cooler ships and cooler abilities. I just wish that Halo Wars 2 would let you like zoom out. It's like, why can't I freaking zoom out and like see my whole battlefield at once?
I love Halo Wars 2, but the reason why it doesn't take the top is I liked playing the multiplayer aspect of Halo Wars.
Yeah.
A good strategy game to me doesn't require multiplayer. It's nice.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to sit at my computer and think about what I'm doing and like take my time and enact the plan.
Yeah.
Which leads to 4X strategy games, the hexagonal grid-based stuff. I played everything from Civilization to Age of Wonders to Stellaris.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Stellaris is more of a strategy game because it's always going. But games like that, I really find the one more turn aspect gets me every time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like them all for different things. Like Humankind was good because they had this.
That's a recent game.
Yeah, it was by Amplitude.
Hmm.
And they took the like Civilization formula and kind of changed it in a way because you start off as one civilization, and as you progress and get better, you can stick with that one civilization, or you can veer off into like something else. So they all add different benefits, which is what Civ 7 is going to try and do this next go around. But as far as like 4X games, I would have to say Beyond Earth is my favorite. But the Civilization franchise is a classic because I played the first one from the 90s. And I played every single one from then. But as far as like who's done it better, there are definitely other games that have a lot cooler systems. Like I like Age of Wonders for being able to create my leaders and customizing my units. I like Humankind for its ability to change how I look throughout the ages. But as far as like something simple, basic, and easy to grasp, Civilization, all the way.
Did you play the Jurassic Park game at all? The park game?
Jurassic World Evolution?
Yeah, yeah.
1 and 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have all the DLC for both of them.
Those are pretty fun games, aren't they?
Actually, up until like recently, I had gameplay footage for the first one on my channel, and then I scrubbed it all clean and got rid of it all. But yeah, I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan, and when those came out, I binge watched all the movies while I sat there and played it.
Dude, that's such a random. I mean, I really do, because I know they're working on a survival game for Jurassic Park, and like, it would be cool to see such like a third person character type game in that universe. But it's interesting that they chose like a strategy game to carry on the franchise. But it fits perfectly well with Jurassic Park, because it's a park. The name of the movie is Jurassic Park, and you're making a park.
I was in the second one. There was time where I was beating all the challenges on their hardest difficulties.
Yeah.
And I just like unlocking this new dinosaur. Let's change the genomes a little bit and make it stronger, or give it a different color. And that's what I gravitate to, is the ability to make my gameplay my own.
Yeah. Dude, you never talk about, now I'm not a huge tactics games guy, but I'm curious, you don't talk about tactics games very much. Do you not like tactics games?
I do, but the issue is I have real tactical experience. So playing some of these tactical games is more like a chessboard than actual tactics.
Bullshit.
which isn't always the case. Like one of my favorite tactical games is XCOM.
Right.
Absolutely love XCOM. I remember when Enemy Unknown came out. I had that pre-ordered and downloaded before I flew back home from my deployment.
Yeah.
Like it was ready to go when I landed. And they're great games. It's just they also require time investment.
Would you say they require time?
They require time.
Yeah.
To be able to sit there and think and take your time with it. And I just with the kids nowadays, I can, but do I want to?
Yeah. And I found, because I had always heard people raving about XCOM 2, and I sat down to play it, and even on like normal difficulty, it is very hard. At least for me, it was very hard because you really have to like think about every move. Similar with like, I think got a similar vibe from Wasteland 3.
Those are good games,
dude. Those games can be those games can be very hard. I mean, they're fun because they're so hard because they have to like you really have to use your use everything. Think about everything you're doing.
They're very niche games,
Yeah.
and that's why they're like not really mainstream. XCOM was popular because Firaxis, the guys that did Civilization, did it. They brought the new XCOM forward.
Right.
But I played like the classics, which are arguably harder than the new ones. And there is a point where the game becomes too stressful. And I don't like being in that state of stress anymore. Or not very often. Like in XCOM, I play with Iron Man mode. So if a unit dies,
oh boy,
they're dead.
Yeah.
And now I have to go hire another one. And I just spent like the last 6 missions bringing this guy through and upgrading him. And now he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, let's throw in the rookie, see how he does.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a different complaint about those games, and it's that I actually don't like waiting. I like the reason I like RTSs and like I like this I don't know if you've played it, this game called They Are Billions. It's like a zombie game.
Zombie game. Yep,
yeah.
I have it.
I love it when a game won't let me pause, and it's just like it's the pressure of like make a decision, like you can't pause. Or I guess you might be able to pause. I think you can probably pause in They Are Billions, but like StarCraft and like your traditional RTSs, like Age of Empires, like if you're playing online, you can't pause the game. And something I just don't like about tactics games is that you like I kind of want the excitement of everything happening in real time, I guess, and that's just not how tactics games are.
I'm with you. A lot of like online multiplayer games, you can't pause, and the reason why it's like the bane of my existence is because the games I want to play, I can't pause. And you know who doesn't like that? The missus. Because she wants me to be able to like pause it, put it down so I can kind of do something. And I don't blame her. Like I understand her dislike of not being able to pause. Yeah. Which is why when I reviewed games, that was actually one of the criteria I based it on. Can you pause this game?
Can you pause this? Yeah.
And that's why I've started slowly gravitating towards more single player experiences, because I can sit there and pause it and be like, okay, my son just woke up. I got to go up there and get him. And I can come right back to this.
Yeah, multiplayer stuff you can't pause.
And those are the games I gravitate to.
Yeah.
Like Skull and Bones, another example. If you're out on the water, you can't really put down the controller.
Right. Well, and I guess I phrased that differently. You can, because you can pause like if you're playing StarCraft single player, like you can pause it, and you can, but it's like, it's something about the tactics games. Time is frozen, and you have to plan all your actions ahead of time, and then you watch the actions play out. Whereas I prefer games where it's like you're doing it like it's happening right now,
which is a very valid reason. Like that's why I said like these particular types of games are very niche. Like they don't have a big fan base because of that reason. And I can't say I blame them, but they are also part of the games I gravitate to because I like that thinking aspect. It engages that cortex in my brain that now I have to think about what I'm going to do next and what's going to work and what didn't work the last time.
Yeah.
Let's move on from that. The next one, we got 3 questions left. This is the first of the 3. Is there anything you're currently looking forward to? A game, console, DLC, etc.?
Currently looking forward to. So, I find the Stalker games very interesting, and I was in a random Facebook. I joined a random Facebook group that had like 20,000 people in it, and all they do is talk about Stalker.
Okay.
And I was like, what is Stalker? Like, why are people into this game? And Stalker is such a weird game because when you play it, I think the first one came out in like 2007 or 2008 by this Ukrainian studio called GSC Gameworks, and it came out in 07 or 08, and it looks a little bit old. It looks like maybe it has like Half-Life 2 graphics, like even F that. But I was interested in the community that has come up around these games, and I think it's because they were like really revolutionary at the time for a lot of their like survival mechanics that they were putting in games. Do you know if they were like some of the first ones?
I know they were among some of the first. I don't know that kind of genre too well, especially from back then. Yeah. They weren't the games that I had access to playing. And like I think I mentioned it before in one of our groups that I haven't played the originals. So playing 2 is going to be a brand new experience.
Yeah.
But if it plays anything like Metro, I think I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah. It's I'll say it is more like, well, if you go back and play the originals, they're such weird. Dude, I haven't put a ton of time into it. I beat the campaign on Stalker 1. You meet like very, very interesting, funny characters like along the way. And a lot of the world is like programmatically generated. So you'll have random encounters with enemy troops, and then those enemy troops will like fight somebody else. And so one of the big things that they pushed on the original Stalker was like, you're in this hostile world, but also there's like a lot of like systems of enemies and things in the games that are working. And so and then all these people online are just obsessed with these games. And I don't completely get why people are obsessed with them, other than that like they have a lot of interesting mechanics and lore. And one of the things you do in these games is you carry around bolts and like just a bunch of nuts, which I guess are as plentiful as like rocks in Russia. That they just they're just like, oh well, you could throw a rock or you can throw like a bolt, because everybody has a bolt lying on the ground. So but in the game, the reason it lets you throw bolts is because you'll hit what they call an anomaly, which is like an invisible kind of monster. And that's why you're wanting to throw bolts, so that you can make sure that there's like not any enemies in front of you before you run right into them. But the original 2 Stalker games, or was it 3, whatever, the original 2 or 3 Stalker games were very interesting. And they're a little more desolate than like Metro. I think Metro is like very, very linear and kind of feels a little bit more like a Call of Duty campaign. And then Stalker is a bit more like open and kind of open-ended. But anyway, all this to say, I'm very excited about Stalker 2, and to see how do they modernize this game from 2007. But like, I'm also really excited about Avowed, which freaking got pushed next year. And like,
February 11th, right?
Yeah. And I'm also
so excited about that myself.
Yeah. And I'm also really excited about Indiana Jones. Like, I hope Indiana Jones is good. And so
Game Pass day 1, baby.
Dude, I'm excited about Indiana Jones. I'm excited about Stalker 2, and I'm excited about Avowed. And I'm pissed that I can't believe Avowed got pushed into next year, but whatever. Those are, if I have any faith in Xbox, that's those are 3 games I'm excited about.
I heard rumor of an Xbox handheld, and I can't wish for something enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because to be able to play my Xbox games natively, the games I play most on the go is a dream come true. But as far as like games, Avowed's definitely my number 1 right now.
Yeah.
Because I loved The Outer Worlds. I loved New Vegas. Like, I have so much confidence in Obsidian's like ability that I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And this whole backlash of it being 30 FPS, they said a minimum of 30 FPS, which means it could be higher, but people only see that one number.
Yeah.
So,
dude, why? It's like, why does Xbox keep doing this though? Because like Redfall, Starfield, like they need a free, because like Starfield runs beautifully at 60 FPS now. Exactly.
It's part of the same reason. I mean, Wukong. I just read and saw that the reason why it was delayed is because Sony paid for exclusivity or whatever. But as far as like Baldur's Gate and everything, they're having to compete with the Series S. And I will say, I've said this before, and I think what PlayStation did right in having two different SKUs was they didn't change the hardware at all. It was the same hardware across the board. They only took a disk drive away.
They only took a what? Oh, took the disk drive. Yeah.
Like, I think that set them up for success because now we're running into issues where you're using a lower powered console to run the games that perform better on a higher powered console.
Yeah.
And I understand Xbox's whole, we wanted to create a budget friendly solution. Sweet. Get more people into the ecosystem. I admire that.
Yeah.
But their whole parity clause is destroying the environment for its gamers.
What do you mean? What do you mean parity clause?
They have a parity clause, which means that you can't release a game unless it works on both consoles.
Yeah.
So that's why Baldur's Gate was held behind, because they had issues getting it to run on the Series S. Otherwise, they would have pushed it out because it would ran on the Series X just fine.
We'll just run it at 30 FPS on the Series S.
Hey, I mean, we don't get paid to make these decisions.
Yeah,
I only know what I read. You know.
Yeah. My only guess is Xbox really wants to avoid the you're getting a downgraded experience on the S. They really want to avoid that,
which I admire. But at a certain point, you have to compromise. You either have to get the game out there, or now you're gonna make your fans mad. And they stuck with the latter of the two.
Yeah, because Starfield does Starfield run at 60 on the S now?
Oof, I don't have an S.
I don't know. I don't have an S. But dude, it runs beautifully in 60 on the X now, and I'm like, it's just odd that they didn't launch with it.
I play on 30 FPS on this. I really don't care.
Yeah,
frame rate has never bothered me.
Yeah.
As far as like making, I understand it makes some people sick because they're not used to it, but I don't think frame rate should be a deciding factor of if a game is good.
Oh, of course not.
Or
if
hardware is good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, everything's different.
Yeah. I mean, when I was playing Starfield at launch, like it takes you a little while to get used to the 30 FPS, and then you're like, guys, gameplay. For whom is not gameplay the most important thing always? Like gameplay is what matters.
Gameplay is king.
Yeah, gameplay is king. You know.
It never took me out of the experience either. And we grew up playing games from the 90s and 80s, so that we're going at 15 frames
per second.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
it's all these kids that think bigger is better.
Yeah. Dude, I was playing this past weekend. I was playing Star Fox on the old Super Nintendo emulator, and Star Fox runs at like 3 frames a second. Like Star Fox is the most janky old. It came out on Super Nintendo. Star Fox is so janky, and it's like I loved it at the time. You know.
Yeah, I've only I think I played it when it came out for the DS.
Yeah.
Like they remastered it and sent it out there, and that's when I played. And I remember like this game is terrible, and that's before I like knew anything about video games, you know. And I'm like, I don't know why anybody would like this, but I mean, as older gamers, we realize gameplay is king, and I can't wait for like my kids to realize that, because when you're a kid, you don't think about that. It's not until you're like in high school where you're like, oh, I need the best rig to play Apex Legends. Do you really? Like that's what you're worried about?
Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, dude. I was thinking it's like they really made the oh, and by the way, I was looking up Star Fox on the Nintendo DS. It was called Star Fox Command. Does that sound right?
This sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, it came out in 2006, and yeah, that was Star Fox was past its prime in 2006. Let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you think about it, like the Xbox Series S is designed for people who like play FIFA, play Apex, play Fortnite, and Minecraft.
They're casual players.
Yeah, your casual player who they don't care, they don't even know what a frame rate is.
Yeah, that's I do admire that Xbox tried to make it a more niche product by having the S for the casuals and the X for the guys like you and me that sit there and that's their main hobby.
Yeah.
But now it's hurting the guys that use it as a main hobby because we're not getting those games because it has to work on a system that it's not ready for.
Yeah, it's bad.
But that's here or there. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll play them when they come out. Now I just got to wait till February.
Yeah. Oh, have you gleaned anything about the story so far of Avowed? It seems like there's this there's this like curse, or there's some kind of like organic plant thing that's like taking stuff over, but it's like I can't really figure out what the story's even going to be about.
It takes place in the Pillars of Eternity universe,
right,
which is a CRPG game on I mean they have it released for Xbox too, and
I played a little bit of the first one.
Yeah, and it's very like that's also a niche genre in itself.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know too much about it. And I listened to a interview with the developers, and they said you don't have to know anything about the Pillars of Eternity universe because this takes place in a different area. But if you are like a fan of the universe, there will be little tidbits of lore in there to pick up. And it makes me want to go back and play those.
Yeah.
But
yeah, dude, because there's two of them, I think. Deadfire. There's one that's like more naval based, and yeah.
Deadfire, I think you play as like a pirate, and I own them both on Steam because I always pick up the games like that when they're like $10 for the entirety of the collection. Like, let's put that in my catalog, and then I won't look at it for a decade.
Yeah. And that game. Fun fact: that game was originally kickstarted. It was kickstarted as like probably when Obsidian was about to go under in like 2015 or something. They kickstarted that game, and it ended up being a huge success.
Yeah, and I've actually played games like it, funnily enough, and I've never really dived into Pillars of Eternity. Like,
you never what?
I've never dived into Pillars of Eternity, but I played games like it.
Yeah. Did you ever play Torment? Or what's that famous CRPG that everybody likes?
There's one called Tyranny.
Yeah, Tyranny. Yeah.
Tyranny, you play as a bad guy, and you have to struggle with your morality. And I went completely evil.
And you went what?
Completely evil. Just went straight off the deep end. I was like, yeah, let's do this and take everything over.
So sorry, I'm thinking of Planescape Torment. That's the famous CRPG I feel like everybody always talks about.
Yeah, no, I've never played that. The latest one I've been playing was Warhammer Rogue Trader by Outcap Studios. I actually helped kickstart that one.
Did you like the game?
Oh, I loved it. It was so good. Because
it's a CRPG?
Yeah. In the Warhammer universe. Like I said, I like the grim darkness of it all, and it just gravitated towards me, and I'm like, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
And it runs on the Steam Deck really well.
Yeah, and then you got Space Marine coming out in like right now.
I think it's out.
Space Marine 2, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's start winding this down. We got 2 more questions.
Okay.
First one. What other hobbies do you have other than playing games, if you have any?
Dude.
The misconception is that gamers only game. and that's not always true. Like Liam has a garden.
Does
I would
he?
never have known. Yeah, he talked about it growing potatoes.
learn a new thing every day about
Yeah,
Liam.
exactly.
Dude, what are my hobbies? I'm really into Christianity, so I read a lot of theology books. I'm really into film. Film is like film and movies are like kind of me and my wife's love language, because she loves, the thing that I always liked about her was that she was like more indoorsy, and she like has a lot of indoor hobbies, and Katya is really into movies and shows, and we like, that's kind of what we bond on, is like movies and shows. So like our like together time of hanging out, it's always kind of like we're always watching something together. And people probably think that's like a boring thing to do for couples, but like that's what we do. And like I wish that we were like, oh, we love to go run together, but we don't. We like to watch movies and shows together.
I wish my wife liked movies as much as I do, because I own like the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like all the extended versions of like Star Wars. Like when we started dating, she had never seen Star Wars without making out with whoever she's with. And then when she sat down to watch it with me, she started talking. I was like, watch the movie.
Watch the movie.
So, but I mean, I don't mind that she doesn't share the interest, but we do watch like shows together. I mentioned that we play Civilization. Usually we'll do that while watching Modern Family, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Jeopardy. We're big on Jeopardy.
Oh, love Jeopardy.
Yeah. And recently we've been watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So
dude, speaking of game shows, have y'all watched we watched this stupid show called The Quiz with Balls, and it's literally it's so stupid. It's Family Feud, but when people get the wrong answers, a big ball comes down and knocks them into a pool of water. And it is
I've heard that.
Dude, anyway, I'm a huge fan of watching like dumb game shows.
My favorite game show is actually Lego Masters.
Okay, dude,
it's a Lego building competition.
Bro, you're not going to believe this. One of my best buddies that I used to be on a podcast with is a cinematographer. He runs the camera for that show.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, he got to hang out with Will Arnett. He hangs out with Will Arnett all the time now.
That's one of my I love that show, because I like to see what designs they build, because I'm strictly a Star Wars builder. I had to decide what I was going to collect. Star Wars was it. But as far as like the process and the techniques and the strategy it takes to build some of these things, I always find it so like appealing, just great to look at.
Yeah, dude.
But
that's wild.
I mean, so you're probably into like a lot of the older movies too, like.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as hobbies, I would say movies. Dude, like I wish that I read, but I just need to face the fact that I'm not a reader. And I've recently been doing a bunch of CrossFit. I've been getting back into CrossFit, and like I used to be really into bikes, and I would bike a lot, but I like have kind of fallen off on biking. So dude, I wish I had cool hobbies, but I don't have any cool hobbies. But what about you?
I mean, I build Star Wars Legos. Right now I'm building a half scale R2-D2, like one that actually functions.
What?
Yeah, I am. Like this is part of the head.
Like it lights up, and
it's gonna light up. It's gonna function. It's gonna roll around and chirp.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah, the price is astronomical, because it was part of the subscription program where they'd send you like a few steps at a time. Because they all come in like numbered bags. Like this one's 23, and there's 100 steps.
Dude, that is okay. That is genius to turn that into a subscription model, because
for sure, because
it gives you like a little bit to do at a time.
I looked and I kind of calculated it all up, and this R2D2 cost me $2,000.
Oh my gosh.
Because I waited to like get all the pieces before I started building it, and they come with like instruction books with the labels and stuff, and it dives into like behind the scenes of the movies and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah,
that's not what I care about.
Yeah.
But I do that. I'm trying to turn this into a hobby. I like talking to gamers. I want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Honestly, my favorite hobby is being a dad. It's not really a hobby. It's just something I do because I see my kids all the time. Like my little girl, she's 3.
Yeah.
She knows what Star Wars is, and I cannot tell you how proud that makes me.
Yeah.
Because she'll see Darth Vader and she'll know who he is.
I forgot what ages are your kids?
My eldest is 3 and my youngest just turned 1.
Dude, we're kind of close to the same era because we have, you know, a 4-month-old now. Mm-hmm. So I'm not far behind you. But dude, you're right. Like I would be incredibly sad if I did not have a child, and we hope to have more kids. But dude, having I guess it's like cliche to say, but having kids is like the best thing ever. It really is.
Oh, for sure. It makes me so happy when I like see a bit of myself in my kids.
Yeah.
Just my little girl, she's very like driven. She knows what she wants, and she's gonna throw a temper tantrum if she doesn't get it.
Oh boy. Which,
I mean, can be said for all kids, but she's very one-track mind like I am. Once I get something in my head, I'm like, this is all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to get this done. And then when she like wants, the best thing is she sits and watches movies with me.
Oh, nice. Not mommy.
I mean, mommy'd rather take the kids out to the park and play. When daddy has them, what Pixar movie you want to watch?
Yeah.
Let's sit on the sofa.
Yeah.
But it's great. And I look forward to her getting older and me being able to share my interests with her. And my hope is that they share those interests.
Yeah, dude, I'm sure your daughters are going to be very cool one day.
Yeah, my little boy, though, he's
dude, I'm sorry.
I have one of each. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I forgot your youngest is a boy.
My daughter's chaos baby. My youngest, he wants to eat everything he can find.
Yeah.
Dude,
so I'm new to this whole having a kid thing, but I will say to anybody who doesn't have kids, there is nothing better than when they turn about 3 or 4 months old, and when they see your face, they just start lighting up and smiling. Every time they see you, like at that age of 3 or 4 months, every time they see your face, they're so happy. And it is like the best. That's like the best thing about being a dad so far.
Oh God. When I come home from work, usually my little boy is sitting in the high chair eating, that's his favorite place to be.
Yeah.
And he gets so happy that he like can't like just express it. He has to like shake and be like, you're here. I'm like, yeah, I'm here, buddy. And it is the best. Like the look on his face is like, oh my God. He's not sleeping by himself.
Yeah.
Completely yet. Like,
yeah.
I'm looking at the monitor now and he's still quiet. I'm like, that's a shock.
Yeah.
But I woke up this morning to him because I brought him back down to the bedroom and he picked up something from my wife's nightstand. She had already gone to work and he was banging it on the headboard. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I look up and he just turns around and like has the biggest smile on his face. Like, Dad, you're awake. You know, like, hey buddy, what's up? Like,
Oh my gosh. We had a moment. We had a moment like that the other day where she was like screaming and crying and like in the middle of the night was just like, wake me up, like something's wrong. And then we got her out of the bed. We got her out of her thing, set her on the bed, turned the light on, and we looked down at her, and her expression completely changed to like she just had the biggest smile on her face because she had won. She had gotten us up, and she like a girl, she was happy somebody was paying attention to her. And, and we were like, wow, we just got trolled by our infant because she's like totally in control of us now.
And you're new into it, and I will tell you that you'll have a lot of sleepless nights. But
yeah,
I look back on it, and some of my favorite gaming memories are actually with my little girl sitting in my arms while I play like Elite Dangerous until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Or my little boy who's sitting in my lap watching Miss Rachel on the iPad while I sit and grind out something in Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
Like, I get to do what I love with the people I love.
Yeah.
And that's what I look forward to in the future. And I plan on getting snipped because my wife and I had discussed this is it for us.
Okay. Yeah.
And it a very long conversation.
Yeah.
And if like now that we've decided, I'm sitting here like, am I doing the right thing? I think I am for me and my family.
Yeah.
And it just I couldn't imagine my life without him now.
Yeah.
I don't want any more, but
yeah.
Now that I have one of each, I'm like, fulfillment. I got this.
Yeah. It's true.
All right, let's start rounding out this.
Oh, dude, in my other hobby, I didn't mention like, duh, I'm a YouTuber. I get that's another big hobby, I guess, is YouTube.
Is that like your job? Do you do that as like a career? Or?
Oh no, dude, no.
Okay. No, what do you do?
I'm a UX designer. I make websites.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm a UX designer, so I just make I was a graphic designer, then I was an art director, and I basically make wireframes for websites. I design interfaces for websites.
Okay.
As my job. But no, dude, I would have to be way more successful. I mean, I speaking.
I mean, 137,000. That's what your silver play button, right?
I did get it. And I'm making a little bit of money off of the YouTube thing, but it's not, dude. It's nowhere. I don't know how these people like truly make like a full-time income on YouTube, because it is.
Oh yeah,
dude. You have to get. I feel like you have to have like 1 million subscribers, and like each video you're making is getting like 200,000 or 300,000 views per video. Like that's when you get into the territory of like making this as a full-time gig, because I'm still nowhere near making enough money to make it as a full-time thing.
Oh yeah. I don't see this going anywhere that far. I just see this as doing something I love, like talking to you, talking to Liam, talking to anybody else that wants to come on. Like, just being able to do that, that's what hits me. I don't care about profiting off of it.
Yeah, and that's the best. Yeah, that's the best reason to do something as well.
Oh, exactly. Like, have passion for it. And I feel like a lot of people lose passion for it and burn out.
Oh yeah,
because those people that are making a career off of it have to do a video every few days. Like,
it's your job now. It's your job now. Yeah, and those same people, like, unfortunately, some of the YouTube patterns that we like the least, they're forced now to do, like grifting, like grifting other people's content. And it's like, they're like, no, I have to grift because this gets more engagement, and I have to do the nasty stuff because this is what gets views, because it's their job. So
unfortunately, that's the way of the beast. I mean,
yeah,
we all do things we don't want to do. I get forced to stay at work because they can't find anybody. So it happens. It happens.
Yeah. No, well, but it has been real important for me though for my YouTube channel. It's actually really nice that it's not my job, because I get on YouTube and anytime I make a video, I'm like, I want to make this video, or I
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about this. I've never made a video because I was like, oh, I need to make it, or I need to, it's like, I guess all I'm saying is it's good. It's nice to have that freedom. Like it's just nice to have the freedom on YouTube of like, just talk about whatever you want, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to like, when it's your job and it's like, okay, you have to talk about this. Cause like I can have an unsuccessful YouTube video and it's like, it doesn't really matter that much, but yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, once you get to a certain level of YouTube and it becomes your job and people are depending on you, then it's like, you're really locked in to what you can do. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. I'm glad I'm starting to do this. Like after our first video talking about Starfield, I went upstairs and I was beaming. Like I was telling my wife, I was like,
it was so much fun.
I was like, I feel so good about this. Like that was so much fun. Like I had such a great time. She's like, I'm happy you're happy. I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah. Dude, I just wish most of our audio got lost on that episode because Liam's phone was cracking up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, we're gonna lose so much audio because of this.
Shattered Spaces coming out. We'll just have to redo it.
Yeah. New episode. Yeah.
All right. So, last question before we start closing this out. As a gamer, what do you think of the gaming community, and what do you think we as gamers can focus on to make it better for everyone else in it? Dude, I know it's a hard question.
Dude, honestly, and I know I can be as guilty of this as anybody, and I'm going to try to say this in a way where I'm not, I know we don't want to talk about politics, but I do wish that we could all get back to talking about games and not talking about other stuff, because at the end of the day, there's people who like might not agree with me on politics, but I think we all probably agree on good gameplay and like what makes a game good. And I wish, and that's why I like conversations like this and other stuff, because it's like, I really think wherever people are on the political spectrum, it would just be nice to just talk about games, like, because I think I would be surprised how much I have in common with like somebody that's on the completely different political spectrum than me. We probably actually have a lot of games in common that we both love. Mm-hmm. And like at the end of the day, for all of us, it's about gameplay. It's about gameplay. Like anybody who is a gamer knows that it's like when you go to see a movie, people are there for a story. When you play a game, you're there for a game. You're not there for a story. You're not there for graphics. You're not there for frame rate. You're there for gameplay. And so like to answer your question of like, or can you put the question back up on the screen?
Of course. I saved you, so I have them ready for everybody else.
As a gamer, what do you think of the gaming community? What do you think we as gamers can focus on to make it better for everyone in it? I think, and I am just as guilty of this as anybody, but I think maybe if we got back to just talking about games, the gaming community would be better, because that's what it's all about, really, is like, is this game fun?
I'm with you on that, and like I've discussed this with my wife. I know my political ideologies don't probably line up.
Yeah.
But that's not what I focus on, because I see it in a lot of like game media, game journalists. There's a lot of negativity, and everybody's looking for the next thing to bash.
Yeah.
Like First it was Starfield, now it's Concord. Like,
yeah.
Publishers just make bad games sometimes, but I don't think bashing them into the ground's helping solve anything.
Yeah,
because you always have those people. Like, you and I love Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go out and say that in public?
No, because you
know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I had to turn comments off on our video because people were just absolutely hating on it, and I was like, I don't want to read these comments anymore, so I'm just going to turn comments off.
I wish that people would accept that people like different games,
right?
And be okay with that. Like, my buddies at work, they always make fun of me because I play Xbox and they have PlayStation.
Yeah,
and they're like,
Sony simps.
Yeah, they're like, did you see all the news? I'm like, what's it matter? Like, I'm playing the same games you are on this.
What is it? What do they mean, all the news?
Like Xbox and their issues, and then I really just want to point out, like, you do realize PlayStation has no first party games, and their only first party game this year failed. Like, don't go into the news. Just be happy you guys are getting something.
Yeah. Dude, and sorry, go ahead, finish your thought.
I was gonna say, that's why I'm video game agnostic. Like, I'll play where the games are. I just want a good game.
Yeah. And dude, we are so in like this is kind of why I backed off on my AndyPants Xbox channel, is because I really think we're backing away from like console specific and device specific stuff. Like, everybody, like, nobody wants to hear it. Everybody hates it, but like, freaking Indiana Jones and Starfield are going to come to PlayStation. And like, I am just like, this isn't, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, there was a strong console identity.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you could really root for your console. And it's like, what is Xbox really at the end of the day? I like it. I prefer to play on it. If I have a choice between two boxes, I'm always going to pick an Xbox. But my ability to be like, haha, look at my exclusive games, I just think that's not the world that we live in anymore. And that world seems to be vanishing quick.
And I look forward to it. Like, I remember when Phil Spencer got the job.
Yeah.
He said that he wants players to be able to play where they want to play. I'm paraphrasing, but that has always stuck with me. I'm like, I wish more people had that same ideology, because I like some PlayStation games, but my library is on Xbox, so I will always go on Xbox.
Yeah.
But if they ported some of the PlayStation games over, I'm gonna buy them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not saying I'm not gonna support another dev just because they align with somebody different. Like, tribalism is dead. And the people that are still trying to fight for that, they make themselves look like idiots.
Yeah. Dude, and the reality is, what I've realized is, it's such a weird, small, toxic group of people who are like PlayStation fanboys anymore. Like, it is such a declining and small group. And it's the same with Xbox. Like, it's such a small group. Like, dude, if you go to a random party and bring up PlayStation exclusivity, people don't even know what you're talking about. They're like, what PlayStation makes exclusive video games? What? Xbox has exclusive games? Who cares? Like, I just play Fortnite, or I just play FIFA. Like, it's a very small, but they're like, they're very loud on Twitter.
For sure. Which is why I listen to Fratanga and listen to Alex, because they shit on both sides. They don't care. And I know
but I feel like Alex, they definitely,
Alex is a PC player.
He is, but he definitely shits on PlayStation more.
Oh, I mean, when you play on Microsoft Windows, like, come on, you got to pick a side. But it's still like one of those things, like, PlayStation players are the loudest fan base.
Dude, they are. And it's so child. But dude, okay, but like, Being on with my new channel that's like platform agnostic, I've noticed how small I think it's look it I swear if you have this many guys who own a PlayStation, it's this tiny percentage of dudes who are like, oh, I only play on PlayStation and I only play exclusives, and like it is an ever shrinking group of people who like care about console exclusivity. Like it just doesn't matter anymore.
And it makes me laugh. I work with two of them. And they'll never know I'm talking about them online.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's funny. It's funny you say that because my old podcast that I used to do had two similar guys, and I got so annoyed of hearing this shit. And that was part of why I created the AndyPants Xbox channel that I ran for a little while, because I was like, these games are not that great. They're walking simulators.
Death Stranding. Like, yeah. I know what I've listened to what you said about it, and that's one of those dad games where I'm doing a job. I'm gonna get this box to that spot over there.
Yeah. So you like Death Stranding?
I weirdly enough, like, it's the only Kojima game I actually got into.
But it was a walking simulator.
It
By
is.
definition, it is a walking simulator.
You're very right. But it's I would never play a game like this when I was younger because I wanted the action. I wanted it now. I wanted to do the thing.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I'm gravitating towards Death Stranding, Star Trucker. I'm still playing the games I used to, but now I'm like, I just want to sit, turn my brain off, and do something specific.
Yeah, yeah. Did you play like Euro Truck Simulator or Mud Runner? Did you play Mud Runner or Snow Runner?
I've touched Mud Runner. I've never played Euro Truck Simulator, but a big Euro Truck Simulator fan base is playing Star Trucker right now. I'm seeing all the comments and everything. They're like, so it's Euro Trucker in space. I'm like, I guess so.
Yeah, yeah. The truck simulator community is just beside themselves right now with excitement.
Well, I mentioned this to somebody else because my uncle's in the comments. Shout out to my uncle. He said earlier, well, shouldn't you be playing the train simulator game? I'm like, that's too close to what I really do. Like, it's like a farmer playing farm simulator. I know you weirdos are out there.
Yeah, yeah. You want a little bit of separation.
But you beautiful bastards keep that genre afloat, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, yeah.
But as far as like the dad game genre, I think it's getting more and more popular as a lot of us get older.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but I don't have a pressure washer, but if I did, I'd be using it all the time. And Pressure Washer Simulator was great.
Yeah. Dude, I've heard there's people who will just go around with their pressure washer, like volunteering to wash people's driveways just because it's so satisfying to use a pressure washer.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I just heard my son.
Yeah.
Let's finish this up. Where can people find you if they want to subscribe?
Oh yeah, guys, just go into YouTube and type one word AndyPants and then space gaming, and that's where you can find me. And then I think if you type AndyPants Gaming on Twitter, you can find me there. Yeah, those are my two. And Luke is often coming on my YouTube channel. We're doing a Cyberpunk live episode on September 26th, I think. And so Luke is often coming on my channel to talk about that, and we love talking about games. Even though everybody always comes on those videos and is like, ugh, bleh, why are you talking about this? It's like, sorry guys,
we want to.
Yeah, it's like sorry for liking a game. Sorry for not hating on games in every single video, So
yeah, but, and I'm the Giga Gamer Dad. Once again, you can follow me on my YouTube channel. I have the same screen name across the board: Twitter, Xbox, YouTube. Like and subscribe. If you want to come onto the show, please feel free to hit me up. I'm on Discord. Let me know there. If you want to shoot me a message, find a way to DM me. Let me know you want to come on. We'll set up a time. We'll set up some space to do it. Thanks, Andy, for coming on. I look forward to talking to you again in the future. And with that, have a good night, guys.
Yeah, bro. Thanks. See y'all.